Hello everyone, welcome to my online channel, The Palm Leaf. This is video number 30 in the data analytics and visualization series. Today we are going to look at the remaining part of the STRINGR function, right? We'll cover a few functions today, and we'll try and do that very briefly because these are fairly simpler functions compared to what we have seen earlier, right? So let's say we run line number 132. Um, and what do we get? You see that the hi and hello are converted into an uppercase. So if you want to convert any string, or for that matter any column, into an uppercase column, you can actually do that using the str to upper function. And conversely, if you want to do the if you want to convert everything to a lowercase, you just have to write str dot to lower and the string value, and this should get you done, right? Let's say you want to use the title function, and the title function just converts every word. Every first letter of the word will be in uppercase, followed by all the other letters in lowercase. So that's the upper, lower, and title functions. Let's say if you want to replace certain functions, right? So here we are taking a string called as hello123, and we are going to replace all the digits. So this is a meta character for digits, backslash d stands for digits, and then you're going to replace it with a hyphen, right? When we cover the regular expressions, we will cover this in depth, but let's just understand that in this particular case the first digit is going to be replaced by a hyphen, and that's what you see here. One is getting replaced by a hyphen. And if you want to replace all the strings, all that you need to do is use the replace all function, and all the digits get replaced by a hyphen. And this need not be a hyphen, you can replace it with anything, right? Now let's see a different way to replace. Let me quickly run 139. So what we are doing is we are assigning a string abcd to z, to a vector variable called as r, and we are passing a string called 123 into the sub function. And in the previous videos we have seen what the str sub function does. It collects a subset, or it brings out or it extracts a subset between a start and an end position. So here when you simply look at the str sub r420 line of code, what it does is it will look at the string a to z, and it will extract 4 to 20, right? And what am I trying to do with that 4 to 20? I'm going to replace it with 1 to 3, right? That's what's happening in 124. So let me quickly run that. And when I try and see how R looks, now you can see that D to T have been replaced by 1 to 3, right? So that's a very quick way to replace the function. Now let me just quickly run these three lines of code. We have got three strings. We are passing it on to vectors b1, b2, and b3. And using the str_c function, we are just going to concatenate the strings, and we have put in a separator with three hyphens here. So you can see that my name is x123 is followed by three hyphens, followed by the second value, followed by three hyphens, followed by the third value, right? So this is also one way to join strings. Let me run 148. So this is a 5 value vector passed on to a variable called as b4. And let's say if I want to collapse everything. So see what has happened here. Um, Even though, and you should think of it like a data frame, or a table in an Excel sheet, right? Let's say you have got five different rows, and you want to collapse the values of all the 5 rows into a single cell. That's where you use this, right? str_c with a collapse function. Let's say you want to duplicate a particular string multiple times. So here you can see the b1 string, which is my name is x123, gets duplicated a few times, 4 times to be precise. We can also use the str split fixed function to actually do a delimiting kind of a thing, right? So all that you need to do is you just need to write str split fixed, because we're going to give a fixed number of columns that we want the split to be within, so that we control the number of splits. We give the string values. Here we are giving the vector b4, and we are saying that we need to split wherever we find the space. So essentially it's going to split words, and the maximum split is n is equal to 2. So what happens is, for those rows which has maybe less than two columns or less than two words, you will see that the split only has the first column. But cases where you have got more than two words, so in cases like row 4 and row 5, you see that the second and the third word is combined in the second row, right? So that's how it works. And if you just want to split it, irrespective of how many columns or rows are present, you can just use the str split function, and there is no constraint there, right? So that's about how you can quickly do a delimiting kind of function in R. Now, there are some order and sort functions. So, for example, let's say I'm running 158 code, a 158 line of code, and passing it on to a variable called as b5. If I can simply use str underscore order to order it, or str underscore sort to sort it. So these are like simple functions if you want to go ahead and do it. Um, Okay, so now there is something interesting, and this is potentially the last part of this video, right? And this is something that you're going to use. I mean, we'll potentially use multiple times during our work in an Excel sheet. Let's say we are passing on two functions here, three functions here. We're passing on the name, age, and anniversary date into variables like name, age, and anniversary. Now we are going to use a unique function called as STRfluence, a very useful function, right? And what are we trying to do here? We're trying to concatenate some values, and using braces, we're going to call the variables that we have just defined. The moment you say str underscore glue, and you put in some string value, and then inside the brace brackets, which is the curly brackets, if you mention the variable name. So in this case, what we are trying to do is my name is, and then inside the curly brackets we are going to call Fred, right? So instead of mentioning Fred, we can dynamically park that into a variable and then call that variable. So every time the value of Fred changes, I mean Fred can be William next time, but the code still stands, right? And here you can even do additive functions. You can say age plus 1, and my anniversary, you can just format it based on how you want the dates, right? So let me just quickly run this line of code and see, and let's look at what has come. So my name is Fred, my age next year is 51, and my anniversary is, so the the percentage A gives you a week, a weekday. The dollar B gives you a month. The dollar D gives you a day, and the percentage Y gives you a year, right? So you can use the format function in such a way, and so there are additive functions. There are separate manipulations that you can do within the curly brackets. So this is a very useful function if you want to try it, right? And if you want to use the curly brackets twice, then it will come out as a single curly bracket, right? So here, if I just want to say my name is Fred and not name, I mean I just use this to pick it up from just use this to pick up a use case where you can actually see how double curly brackets would not ensure that the variable name gets passed on. So before I wind up this video, I wanted to look at one more function, which is the str glue data, right? So this is what you can use, let's say when you've got a data set, right? So let's quickly look at the empty cars data set. So this is basically a data set which has got different which are different car models followed by their attributes. We have covered some of this in our previous videos, right? So most of these values are numerical. In fact, all of it is numerical, right? So this is the empty cars, and before we run the pipe function, we'll have to run the dplyr function, right? So you can watch videos 5 to 7 for the dplyr function. So what we are doing is we are calling the data set. We are going to use the pipe function so that we can pass on an argument, and after the pipe function we are just going to use str glue data, and we are going to say row names has hp, right? So let me just quickly run it, so you will clearly understand what has happened. So when you say row names and in bracket you say dot, it means that all row names are going to be mentioned, and the word has is going to be followed by the row name, and then whatever was present in the HP column is going to come up followed by HP. So when you look at this line of code, you can see that there are 32 different values. I mean, this is the row name, Mazda RX-4 has, and then it has taken the HP value from the HP column, and then followed by HP. So it's repeated all that across all the values. So this is a very unique thing if you want to do in an Excel sheet. What you usually do is if you want to do concatenation, you will use is equal to value and double quotes ampersand, and then you will drag for the entire column. Here, in a single line of code, you can achieve that. So that's about the STRINGR function of all that I wanted to cover. Please let me know if you have any queries or if you have any feedback regarding these videos. But I've tried to cover the STRINGR function to the best of my abilities, covering almost all the functions. So yeah, happy to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in the next video.